Good morning, welcome back to Breakfast Television. Thanks for starting your day with us. Dan Chometa joins us regularly from Consolidated Credit. This time around, Dan, we're talking about all the things that first-time homeowners should do before they buy that first home. Let's tick off the list. What do I need to what do I need to check off before I go looking for that first home?
Well, I mean, most people usually run to the bank and try and get a pre-approval, right? That's the first thing that they try and do, and I think that's a mistake. I think what they need to do is look at your credit report, because ultimately credit is going to affect how much interest you're going to pay on that home,
right?
And inevitably how much you can actually afford. So checking the credit's going to be important to understand if there are inaccuracies or errors.
Okay.
That's going to drag down your score. So we want to clean those things up, make sure we have the strongest credit picture possible, and then move forward from there.
Because what I can afford and what I will be pre-approved for can be two very different numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you could be pre-approved for just about anything, but you know, then we get into a situation where we're mortgage poor, where we're trying to pay as much as we can towards the mortgage, and we just don't have enough to make ends meet. So, you know, budgeting again is very important for this kind of a scenario. We want to make sure that we make our budgets, you know, routine, rational, comfortable.
Yep.
We've got enough room and area in there to meet our obligations and to live comfortably as well.
Okay. One of the things you say we should do is research the true costs, because what my real estate agent and I agree on isn't exactly what my house is going to cost.
Yeah, I mean, there's other fees, real estate fees, lawyer fees, these kinds of things, land transfer fees. All of these things will add to the cost of home ownership. So we want to make sure that we understand the true value of what we're getting involved in. And also getting a home inspection is going to be really important as well, because there may be something wrong with that home. You know, when you're renting, a water heater goes, you call your landlord and get it fixed.
Yep.
This is a different scenario. Do you rent the water heater or do you own the water heater? And there's some true costs that we have to look at there.
Okay, and then another point, buy what I can afford. How do I know what I can actually afford?
I think back again to the budget. I think we have to take a look and see what's comfortable for us. And you know, also look at an emergency fund for the just-in-case possibility. You know, we get some bad storms in Winnipeg. Maybe there's a roof problem, right? And we need to get that fixed. Can we afford to do that?
Okay, now how about that down payment? Where should I be thinking about when it comes to making sure that that's as significant as possible?
The rules are that you need to have 10% down, although what we suggest is 20% down. The reason being is that if you have a 10% down on the mortgage, you're at high risk. Therefore, you have to carry what's called CMHC insurances on the mortgage as well. So,
okay.
By negating that cost to the insurance, you're going to have the 20% down in order to get that, or more if we can.
20% sounds like it's going to keep a lot of us from stopping renting and buying.
I don't think that if you can't get to 20% down or even 15% down or as much as possible, you might not want to consider buying a home. You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, you're throwing your money out when you're renting, but if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
Because the mortgage companies tell me I'm building equity in the home,
sure,
as opposed to renting, I'm just paying rent.
Sure, but when you're renting, you might be able to put some money aside for savings, right, to make that 20% down payment. The costs over the long run are going to be significantly more when we factor in the insurances.
Okay, so we do all those things to make sure that we don't end in financial troubles. If you need some help or you want more advice, you want to see that again, just go to breakfasttelevision.ca. We've got all the details on Consolidated Credit. Going to take a break. Plenty coming up, including your chance to win $25 from Subway. That'll help you when it comes to lunch. We got that and more coming up on BT. See if those little things add up.